Welcome everyone to the Weekly Wrap. I'm Sean, your host, and if you watched last week's Facebook Live episode, you will know I saw Thor Ragnarok last weekend. Now, I don't want to reveal any of the spoilers too off the bat, so let's just get into the review. Okay, so before we get into too much of a review, let's talk about the cast. First off, director Taika Waititi. That's right, he's in this movie as well as directing. Does a fantastic job. He mainly did the movie based on improv, and it definitely paid off. There are a lot of funny moments in this movie, one of which is his character Korg. He stole the show for me, and is probably one of my favorite small characters throughout the Marvel Universe now. He's funny, reserved, and just overall has a good time. Also, we can't forget Thor. Chris Hemsworth, back as the God of Thunder, this time with a haircut and without his hammer. His role in this movie was pretty fantastic. In the first 5 minutes, you already know what kind of movie you're going to get. There's comedic lines all throughout the opening, and the whole auditorium was in laughter for the first 5 minutes. But a good laughter, not a, oh god, this is bad laughter. So, way to go, Chris. Next, everyone's favorite Lord of Mischief, Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Loki was just his normal self, a mischievous trickster who tries to redeem himself. And in the end, does he? You'll have to find out if you haven't seen the movie. Also, another great addition to this movie, and a surprise addition for most people. Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. Now, if you saw the trailers, you knew he was in it. But how and why? That is a big question. It was a lot of fun seeing Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk in this movie. He was the Hulk for most of the movie. We find out that it's been about 2 years since we saw Hulk, and he's been the Hulk ever since. So, pretty awesome. And he can talk. So, way to go on that. Also, we have Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. She's a drunken scrapper, once a hero of Asgard. And that's about what we see. A drunk person running around this new planet collecting people for the Grandmaster. But she does want to relive her glory days as a hero, so why keep her from that? We also have to talk about the main villain of this movie, Hela, played by Cate Blanchett. We discover that she is the unknown sister of Thor and Loki. Odin hid her from the kids because she was evil, pure evil. And we find out a little bit more about her backstory, but she destroys Thor's hammer, so if that shows you how powerful she is. We also have to talk about the fun and lovable Jeff Goldblum. He plays the Grandmaster in this movie, and he steals it. Most of Jeff Goldblum's lines, from what I've read online, were improv. And it's believable. Not because it seems out of place or bad acting, but it seriously feels like everything he said was, this is my thought at the moment. It was a lot of fun, and I really want to see more of Jeff Goldblum in future Marvel movies as Grandmaster. Don't know how he would play in, but it would be great to see him every once in a while. Also up is Idris Elba as Heimdall. Fantastic role. I love him every time he plays it, but honestly, he was missed in this one. He had a very small role. It was important, but it was small. And I wish that they would have done more with it. Especially since in Age of Ultron, we see Thor go into that memory pool type thing, and Heimdall says, you left us. You should have protected us. It was an interesting thing, and I was hoping to get more Heimdall in this movie, but we don't. Also, newcomer to the Marvel franchise, Karl Urban. He plays Scourge, the Executioner. A pretty significant character in the Thor universe. He's kind of a snake in the grass, but his story kind of gets cut short. And without spoiling it, he dies. Yep, I spoiled it. Sorry. He tries to redeem himself and lasts maybe 2 seconds. So, thanks for stopping by. And finally, we have to talk about Anthony Hopkins as Odin. Anthony Hopkins is one of my favorite actors, and has always been a fan favorite for Odin. Perfect casting, perfect look. In this movie, we find out what happened to Odin since Loki tricked Thor, and, well, it's not good. He's stuck on Earth and is dying. Yeah, Odin's gone. Unfortunate, but because of his death, it apparently unlocked a seal that released Hela. So, thanks Loki, you screwed us all over again. But there are a few moments throughout the movie of Odin talking to Thor, and some of the most touching moments, especially towards the end. Don't want to spoil it, but it's pretty good. Now, we are going into the plot. So, if you don't want any spoilers for this movie, I don't know why you clicked on the fully reviewed episode if you don't want spoilers, but we're about to go into spoilers. I'm about to reveal some key plot points to Thor Ragnarok and the ending. So click away. I'll wait. And that's all the time you have. So if you haven't clicked away, we are about to go into the plot. So get ready. So, Thor is attempting to protect the realms while Odin kind of just watches plays on Asgard. It's humorous, and Thor starts to question, why aren't you protecting things? He fleshes out that it's Loki. Once we find out that it's Loki, Thor and Loki go on a quest to find Odin, where they come across Doctor Strange. Benedict Cumberbatch makes an appearance in this movie as Doctor Strange and helps Thor find Odin. He also kind of puts Loki in a time loop of constantly falling. It's pretty great. But we find Odin, and we learn that Thor and Loki have a sister named Hela, and that when Odin dies, she will be released and will take her revenge on Asgard. And apparently she becomes more powerful on Asgard for some reason. Not entirely sure why. Odin dies, Hela's released, she destroys Thor's hammer. Loki gets freaked out, and they travel back via the Bifrost. Unfortunately, Hela, of course, got into the Bifrost, and now she's on Asgard. She kicks Thor and Loki both out of the Bifrost, and they both end up on a garbage planet? That's the best way I can describe it. There, Thor is pitted against his friend from work, the Hulk, by this mastermind grandmaster, played by Jeff Goldblum. It's a fun thing, but Thor decides that while he may be captured, he needs to escape with Hulk. And also this scrapper that found him. She's a Valkyrie, a protector and guardian of Asgard. The last of the Valkyrie, to be exact. And most of them died during a fight with Hela many, many years ago. She doesn't want to go back. But eventually she does. And she wonders, who are we? Well, Thor calls them the Revengers. That's right. You leave Thor as a team leader, and that's what you get. The Revengers. Because they're going to take revenge. It's fun. But we get Thor, Loki, Hulk, and Valkyrie headed back to Asgard, and they defeat Hela. But to do so, and to defeat Hela, well, they must cause Ragnarok, the destruction of Asgard. But as Odin says, Asgard is not a place, it's a people. Deep Odin. But they end up doing it. They cause Ragnarok to happen, and the entire Asgardian planet destroyed. Everybody makes it onto a ship. They are flying off, and in a post-credit scene, we see a giant ship. Now confirmed by Kevin Feige of Marvel to be Sanctuary 2. For those of you who don't know, the place where Thanos lives is called Sanctuary. So this is kind of his mobile sanctuary. That's right. Thor, Loki, Hulk, Valkyrie, and the rest of Asgard, they're about to meet Thanos. And that's where the movie ends. Well, we do get another post-credit scene with the Grandmaster. Kind of calls the revolution that was caused on the planet to a tie. Alright, whatever you want to say, Grandmaster. It's a fun movie, lots of laughs, and lots of other secrets and surprises that I did not reveal. Because they're just fun to see rather than be a major plot point. So definitely check out the movie if you want to find out all of the secrets and Easter eggs. So next up, we're going to talk about some of the reviews. These reviews are coming from Rotten Tomatoes by some pretty big name reviewers. So, let's take a look at a fresh tomato. Mr. Hemsworth looks happier and far more relaxed in Ragnarok than he did in the previous Thor vehicles, which is perhaps Mr. Waititi's truest achievement here. I couldn't agree more. You know, this movie definitely showed the entire cast coming together and working as a team. It doesn't feel like anything was really scripted, and most of it seemed like it was improv, which is what everybody's saying it was. I don't think it would work for all Marvel movies, but in this comedic buddy cop fashion, it definitely works. But let's take a look at a Rotten Tomato. While it's not saying much, Thor Ragnarok is easily the best of the 3 Thor movies. Or maybe I just think so because it's screenwriters, and I finally seem to agree on one thing. The Thor movies are preposterous. Alright, Peter, thanks for that backhanded compliment. I see what he was trying to say, you know? The entire movie is pretty campy and fun. And that campiness and fun, it works for the movie. I'm not entirely sure why you gave this a Rotten Tomato, Peter, but okay. So let's talk about my thoughts about this movie and find out what I'm giving this movie as far as ratings go. Overall, I loved this movie. Honestly, 2017 shaped up to be an amazing year for Marvel movies, with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, and now Thor Ragnarok. It was a solid year. Honestly, I'd probably say one of Marvel's best years. All the movies were pretty fantastic. Spider-Man Homecoming, still probably in my top 5. And honestly, Thor Ragnarok's probably in my top 5. But we're going to save that for a future episode. Might even do like a full Marvel review talking about all of their movies and ranking them. So if you want to see that, definitely let me know. But this one definitely is pretty high up there. It's a huge improvement to many of the Thor movies. I thought Thor 1 was fine, and Thor: The Dark World just kind of left me disappointed. I was hoping for more, especially with Christopher Eccleston as the villain, and it just let me down. But this movie, non-stop laughs, non-stop action, 2 hours of fun. So overall, I feel this movie delivered exactly what it was advertised, kept enough wit and campiness from us to overall, I feel this movie delivered exactly what it advertised, a funny buddy cop movie. But the trailers didn't reveal so much wit and campiness that we felt cheated and that we got everything from the trailers. So I definitely respect the advertising from that. Even some of the scenes they show in the ads were altered in the final cut. So I appreciate the advertising. Definitely one of Marvel's best advertised movies. What is my final review of Thor Ragnarok? I give this movie a 9 out of 10. That's right. It's probably one of my highest reviewed movies and probably will be one of my highest reviewed movies of this year. It was a lot of fun. It kept me laughing, kept me entertained, and delivered exactly what I was hoping for. So, if you are into Marvel, Thor is probably a movie that you will enjoy. If you want a good comedy this fall, Thor is definitely a movie you should check out. If you just want something to go into blindly, Thor Ragnarok is definitely a movie for you. So, let's talk about what's coming next week. Next week, honestly, let you, the fans, decide. Leave a comment down below, and the most sought-after review will probably be what we try to do. So, we can either do a fully reviewed episode of Murder on the Orient Express. I'm hoping to see that this weekend. And if we do, we could do a fully reviewed episode. We also may do a fully reviewed episode of Shadow of War with Ben Mills. So if you want to see a reviewed episode of that, please let me know. Or we could do a fully reviewed episode of Horizon Zero Dawn with its DLC, The Frozen Wilds. I'm going to try to play some of that this week and try to come up with some topics to talk about from it. So if any of those thoughts entice you and you think we should do that, please leave a comment down below and give this video a thumbs up. I want to thank you all for liking, commenting, and sharing this video. If you have any thoughts about what we should do for next week's episode, please leave that in the comment section down below. But also, we're getting ready to close out 2017. It's only about a month and a half left. So if you have any thoughts about what we should do over the next few episodes, please leave that as well in the comment section down below. If you haven't subscribed to the weekly wrap, and you definitely should, you can click this circular channel icon here. And if you want to get alerts for each episode, make sure to hit the alert button. But if you want to check out some of our fully reviewed episodes, you can click this video playlist here.